Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear. Got another unboxing to do, as is pretty common if you haven't figured that out. I just recently did a partial trade, partial sale. I let go of the Danger Banana, Spyderco Subvert, as I mentioned in that the full review of that knife. It just wasn't a knife I felt I needed to own long term. Super glad I experienced it. Really cool knife, but it's one of those types of knives that for me, I would rather ultimately move along and turn into something else. So, surprise, surprise, I got another Spyderco. You never would have guessed, knowing me, right? This is a Spyderco I've actually been meaning to try for a very long time, and I've never even held one. So I'm really excited for this. You can read that. This is the Kapara. Now the Kapara is a knife designed by a gentleman named Alistair Phillips. He's an Aussie from what I understand. And this knife supposedly is designed with food prep in mind, which I think is pretty cool. The only other Spyderco, to my knowledge, that I've held that has been designed for food prep is the Spidey Chef. This is the CQI version, which means constant quality improvement in Spyderco's terminology. So that means that this knife has had some updates compared to the original, like the first launch. Ooh, that feels good. It literally just came out of the mailbox. It's still warm because it's a hot day outside. Wow, this feels really smooth and refined. Ooh, that's a guillotine too. Excellent. Yeah, this is really, really cool. So on this knife, we have solid carbon fiber handle scales, and the way that they're finished is really good. All these edges are chamfered and rounded and shaped. The scales themselves, I don't know if it'll really come through, but they've got a little bit of contouring to them. We've got a wire clip, which if you know me, you know I dig Spyderco's wire clips. This is a Taichung Spyderco, so it's made in Taiwan. This looks and feels excellent. I have heard so many reviewers and friends rave about this knife, and I've been meaning to give it a try for so long, and just for one reason or another, some of you guys who are in this hobby probably get it, but there was just something that much more exciting or more interesting or shinier or whatever it was when I had the money in the account. And so every time that I almost got one of these, I ended up moving forward with something else. But now I'm feeling a little dumb for doing that because I really am impressed with this right out of the box. This knife is, I think it just had one previous owner, and it's in fantastic shape. I can't really find any blemishes. There's no snail trails. There's nothing wrong here. The centering is perfect. The grinds are even and nice. This is just CPM S30V blade steel. I've talked a fair bit about S30V in a number of other videos. I'll probably do kind of a steel roundup and a talk about my preferences on steel here soon. But S30V is fine. It doesn't excite me, but it's fine. I don't have any real complaints about it. This compression lock, ooh, that is money on here. Just absolutely free-falling drop shutty when you've got that compression lock pressed in. It Spidey flicks really well too. I've heard a couple of people complain that access to Spidey flick this one isn't very good. I frankly don't really know what they're talking about. For me, Spidey flicking it and thumb flicking it both work excellent. This feels great to me. So that's really cool. Yeah, I dig this a lot. I've been excited for this to arrive, and now that it's here, I'm even more excited to go ahead and start getting it in pocket, carrying it a little bit. It's funny, I've been carrying like crazy the Benchmade Super Freak, and you can see in terms of overall lengths, these are actually pretty close, but the reason why I just thought it was funny is because this has that red G10 backspacer with the carbon fiber, which is kind of like black and gray. And this knife is black and gray G10 with red G10 and red barrel spacers internally. So it's just kind of an interesting, like, apparently I'm on a black, gray, and red kick. I hope everybody doesn't start thinking I'm a big Green Day fan, because I'm not. Anyway, yeah, this is really nice. I love how smooth this carbon feels because this knife is shaped really well. All right, I'm not gonna dive too deep. I'm gonna cut this right about here because I don't wanna, I try not to jump too deep into first impressions when I'm just unboxing something. In my opinion, a first impressions should be more like once I've at least had it in pocket for a day, or at least a half a day. I don't know, more than just right out of the box, because this is more of like a first inspection. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys as you're watching, but I just think it's more fair to do a first impressions once I've actually put it in pocket a couple of times, maybe cut at least one package open with it or something, which luckily enough, I just got a couple of packages from the post office, not other knives, so you guys won't be seeing them, but I've got some things I can go out and open right now with this. And yeah, I'm excited to do so. This is really, really well done. I get why there's been so much kind of hype behind it. I guess there has and there hasn't. Like, a lot of people have raved about this knife, but I've also seen quite a few of them change hands on the secondary market, and I don't know. I guess when they're in stock, they tend to go pretty quickly. From what I've perceived, these don't stay in stock for very long, so maybe it's just because there's a relatively limited number of them. I don't know. It's a weird knife to get a pulse on, because I've seen so many people say so many positive things about them, but I don't feel like everybody has one of these or even knows about them. And so I'm pumped to give it a shot. I really, really like this on first inspection. Anyway, this is the Spyderco Kapara. It's got carbon fiber, full carbon fiber, contoured, really nice scales with steel internal liners and a compression lock, which is probably my favorite lock type in general, definitely my favorite lock type from Spyderco. We've got a red G10 backspacer, a wire pocket clip, which I absolutely adore, S30V blade steel, full flat ground, and this is gonna be a lot of fun. So there you have it. Plenty more to come on this guy.